In the previous clip, which I tagged in the repo as 3.2, we've done some refactoring. One change allowed us to use absolute import paths instead of relative ones. I think this makes understanding where the files are an easier process, but it also comes with the added cost of maintaining that node path environment variable and the Webpack resolve config. However, there is one other benefit for this approach that I'd like to mention here because I think it's relevant. It's how easy this approach makes developing your own NPM packages locally. So let me show you what I mean. Let's assume we decided to maintain this data API file as its own package, knowing that we're going to be adding a lot of code here, and simply because we know we're going to need the exact same code in a different project. So we need to start a new Git repo for this package. For simplicity in this course, I'm going to just manage this new package under the lib directory. Let's give it a more generic name, call it state API, and let's go in there. Now, of course, I'm going to manage this package locally here just to keep things simple for this course and to keep all the code in one repo. But you can imagine that this folder can be a Git submodule, for example, pointing to a separate package. Okay, so we'll take the previous code and we'll place it under state API. I'm going to create a new file. Let's actually put it under a lib directory inside the state API, and we'll just place it in index.js, the exact same code. To make this state API into its own package, we can yarn in it, answer the few questions, and I'm going to make the entry point lib index.js, and we have package.json. So the plan is to eventually publish this package, but I'm not going to do that now. We'll publish when we're ready. But here's the thing. I want my application to use this new package, and in development mode, I just want my application to read directly from this state API. But when I take this project to production, I'm not going to have this state API directory. I'm just going to use the published package. All right, so I'm going to keep an eye on the tests, and I'm going to remove the previous data API, and I think we have tests here that should start failing. So let's go ahead and fix them. Everywhere we previously used data API, we now need to change it to use the new package. All right, so it looks like I'm using it in app.js. So instead of the previous up one level data API, all I need to do now is state API. And this will work locally because of the node path that we just did, and it will work in production by reading state API from node modules when we install state API as a dependency in production. This is actually really cool because I didn't need to do any NPM linking or stuff like that, and I get to grow both projects locally here in development. We need to also change the other test where we used data API. So instead of data API here, we are using state API, just like that. And this should actually make the tests pass. So now when we're ready, we publish this package to NPM, and we push our host project to deploy without this local state API code, and things will just work because this is a normal import statement that will read from node modules as well. Of course, before we publish this package, we should really transpile it with Babel, because it's probably a bad idea to publish an NPM package that uses features that are not yet in Node. So what we do in this case is we publish the Babel transpiled code instead of the code that we write.